possible new head of the CIA is Jose Rodriguez, a name that you might not be familiar with. But if you experienced the Bush years, you might remember the events that he was implicated in, because this is a guy who helped to set up some of the initial CIA black sites where torture was standard policy throughout the Bush years. He was one of the architects of our policy of torture, including the reimplementation of waterboarding as just a standard interrogation technique. And also, he was the guy that destroyed 92 videotapes of waterboarding being conducted on, that's just on 2 of the people that they were torturing. That guy might be the new head of the CIA.
So let me tell you a little bit more about Jose Rodriguez, who's one of the worst guys in our lifetimes to work in U.S. government. He said he bragged about going, quote, going to the border of legality back when he was at the CIA. And then he said, we have to start, Trump, by the way, the reason he's picking him is because he said during the campaign, not only that we have to bring back waterboarding, we have to go do more than waterboarding. Waterboarding, by the way, is a crime under U.S. law. So just the law and order candidate saying, I don't care what the law is. Like, I want to break the law immediately. Yeah. I know it's also against international law. I know conservatives don't care about international law. It's against U.S. law, against U.S. law. Okay, and he's going to say, and he also said, Trump did, we have to do, quote, things that are unthinkable almost. And if you're going to do that, you bring in a guy like Jose Rodriguez. Now, again, they don't care about law and order because you're not supposed to destroy those 92 tapes, and that's against the law, and that's why they were investigating him until the Bush-Cheney administration was like, let's not do that investigation. We're done with that investigation, right? And he said the reason he wanted to destroy it, Rodriguez, he said, heat from destroying is nothing compared, and this is, by the way, public information now, because if you work for the government at some point, the interactions you have within the government at a later date become public.
Unless they put it on a private server.
Right, exactly. Because you work for us, right? And probably why Hillary Clinton wanted to avoid that and why it was wrong, right? So we find out now, because it's now public information, Rodriguez had said internally, heat from destroying the tapes is nothing compared to what it would be if the tapes ever got into the public domain. He said, it would make us look terrible. It would be devastating to us. So the guys who committed the torture said in internal emails, boy, if anybody ever saw how we tortured people, it would be devastating to us. Yeah. So he said, I'm just going to burn them. I'm just going to destroy them against the law. And then Bush and Cheney were like, great, break the law, who cares? Yeah. So now that guy not only was not punished for breaking the law, and of course when Obama came in, he said,
looking forward.
I don't look backwards. Now, look, if you say, hey, Jose Rodriguez should not be held responsible for the torture and the waterboarding because Cheney and Rumsfeld and Bush ordered it, that's fair. That's a good, interesting debate to have. I probably wouldn't have punished anyone under Jose Rodriguez. Jose Rodriguez had a management position. He made those decisions. I think that it would be fair to put him in with Rumsfeld and the rest of the guys, for the guys who actually ordered the program, okay? But even if you didn't want to get him on torture, burning the tapes is clearly wrong, right? But Obama said, no. I'm just going to let him get away with all of that, no matter how egregious it was. So now instead of being punished, he's going to be rewarded. So he might be the head of the CIA now. So under Trump, if you're a lawbreaker, you're a torturer, you're willing to push the boundaries of law and decency, you do not get punished. You get rewarded. So this guy might be getting a promotion. Imagine this guy's the head of our CIA. He, by the way, also set up what they call the black sites where they would make people disappear. And that's, of course, against international law, U.S. law, et cetera.
Basic human decency and morals.
And it turned out, well, the reason we don't do that is because, oops, some of the people that we made disappear were the wrong guys. Sometimes we pick up a guy with the same name as someone on our wanted list. And 3 years later, after keeping him in a black site, drop him off in the middle of Macedonia and go, sorry. Actually, we wouldn't say sorry. We just drop him off and leave him because we had the wrong guy. We had the wrong guy many times. And this guy's going to bring that back.
But this is another guy where what you say is horrible, the torture, et cetera, Trump supporters think that's fantastic.
Yep.
For one thing, he was doing it to Muslims who aren't people, right? They're their enemy, they're blah, blah, blah. And the torture worked, and we got information, and, oh, well, it's war, so if we made a mistake, we made a mistake. You know, it is a horrible situation, but again, to their supporters, what you consider horrible, they consider admirable.
They do. Until one day they realize that Trump actually has many positions that aren't conservative at all. All he really cares about is making money for himself and for his supporters. And he's right now, you know what? The most interesting part of this story is who's picking all the people in his cabinet. It was the same under Obama. So the corruption is in both parties. And I told you in the WikiLeaks, we found out that it was the Citigroup guys that work at a bank that had handed Obama a list of his cabinet members, and it was almost exactly what Obama picked.
It was written in an office inside Citigroup.
Right.
That's right, and it's a revolving door. Those guys had worked in the Democratic Party before they went back to Citigroup, made millions upon millions of dollars while they crashed the economy, and then Obama let them off the hook, and then they picked Obama's cabinet. Okay, so now under Trump, the system's rigged, I'm against corruption. You think it's better? No. So in his case, it's a group called Dentons, and that is a law and lobbying firm.
That's right.
And Newt Gingrich used to work there.
And guess who else works there, right? This guy from Vermont.
Howard Dean.
Howard Dean.
Oh, here we go. And now they want him to run the DNC, so you have the loyal opposition that doesn't do anything. And the Dentons also were retained by the top super PAC supporting Donald Trump, hence the money people. So the money
That
people...
sounds like coordination.
The money people picked the Dentons, and now the Dentons, the lobbying group, handed Trump a list and said, here you go, boy, do as you're told.
You know who makes independent media possible? You guys. Because of you, we can actually do this show free of any outside influence. That's what makes us so strong. Become a member today. tytnetwork.com/join. You are the media.